Hello and thanks for staying on LN 24/7. This is Politics Now. My name is Morno Balagbobo. We will be looking at Uromi killings in Edo State. Here is a rundown of our talking points. We'll talk about calming ethnic tensions, Governor Okpebelo's visit to Kano, justice for victims, and addressing security structure. Our guest today joins us from the Federal Capital Territory, Dr. Cecil Esekaigbe, security consultant. He is a retired Major General and a member of Edo APC. All right, also today we'll look at tension over Senator Natasha's homecoming. Here is a run of our talking points, curfew declaration by Kogi government, and examining counter allegations between Natasha and Kogi government. Christopher Sunday is our guest. He's a political analyst, a lecturer, and media consultant. All this and more right here on Politics Now. We'll take a quick breather. We'll be right back. So, Edo State Governor Monday Okpebelo paid condolence visit recently to Kano State and Abba Yusuf over the killings of 16 Kano-bound travelers. The 16 travelers were killed at Uromi in the Essen Northeast local government area of Edo State by some members of a vigilante group who mistook them for criminals. The travelers, said to be hunters, were en route Kano State from Port Harcourt for the Eid al-Fitr celebrations when they were killed. The Edo governor and his team commiserated with the people of Kano and the families of those who were killed. Okpebelo described the incident as sad and felt sad upon hearing the news and acknowledged the cordial relationship between the Hausa community and the people of Edo State. He has assured the people of Kano of swift justice, noting that 14 people had been arrested and moved to Abuja for interrogation. On his part, Governor Yusuf has demanded that those who perpetrated the brutal crime be paraded for the whole world to see, maintaining that Kano remains the most peaceful state in the north and accommodated people from diverse communities. He thus thanked his counterpart for the prompt visit and called for the immediate prosecution of those arrested so that justice can be served. Both governors called for peaceful coexistence as they visited Torun Kawa village in Bunkere, local government area of Kano State. Now, on the other aisle of the conversation, the Democratic Party, PDP rather, the opposition in Edo State, has blamed Governor Monday Okpebelo for the rapidly deteriorating security situation in the state, which the party linked to the recent killing of innocent travelers in Uromi. Now, in their statement, they faulted the governor's actions, that is, the recent classification of perpetrators as an illegal vigilante group, only further exposing the absence of a coherent security framework under the current administration and a continuation of the blame game, saying the government has come to master. The February 5th mutiny by members of the Edo Security Corps was an early warning sign of deep-rooted inefficiencies. Now, these are the words coming from the PDP, and they are making demands calling for urgent measures to restore security and to prevent further loss of lives in Edo State. They're demanding for a comprehensive audit and overhaul of the Edo State Security Corps, and also arrest and prosecution of all perpetrators, deployment of federal security agencies, and also implementing security strategy, which is new. Our guest today on the show is a former retired Major General in the Nigerian Army, Dr. Cecil Esekaigbe, and he joins us now from Abuja. Thank you so much for your time. I know you've been busy all through the week because of the delegation that you're part of that went to Kano State. So talk to us about some of the diplomatic efforts and how that has been able to calm the tensions so far.
We are past the level of convention. Now we're at the level of building trust and for the unity and the progress of the two states. So what Governor Okpebelo simply did was just to demonstrate, what it means by responsibility and governance. So he took the initiative, went to see the governor, and not only that, he went to the village, to see the families of the victims. So it was very instructive. and a very clear indication of a governor who is alive to his responsibilities. As for the question of the Kano State government coming to Edo, is also sealed up as a continuation of the bidding of trust effort. So he's coming to also speak to his people so that people can now know that the two governors are really interested in ensuring peace and to make sure that the ugly incidents will not occur again. So the important takeaway here is that those who are blowing hot and cold about what happened and what did not happen should see clearly that these governors are doing the part of peace and be good for everybody. This will show example to other states that uh, even though they are from different parties, that the welfare and security of their citizens are just upmost in their minds.
So let's come to the government of Okpebholo. What measures have been taken to prevent this from happening again?
Yes, first and foremost, you heard the governor clearly that some of the perpetrators have been arrested and they are still looking for the arrest. The issue is when such a thing happens, deterrent matters. So how this matter is handled, we actually show how deterrence can work. So when people know that there is responsibility for their actions, and that when you take laws into your hands, there is price to pay. They will be conscious of how to behave in a civilized society.
I would like your quick word reaction to the PDP statement. I mean, talking about a rapidly deteriorating security situation in the state. The last time we had this conversation, on Monday, I had a chieftain in the PDP in Edo State to speak, and he was quite clear on politics not coming into factor here because security, I mean, concerns us all. So what's your say to the PDP in your state?
You see, I hate to politicize security or otherwise insecurity. Otherwise, PDP has no moral justification to talk about security in Edo State. Let me tell you, in 2020 to 2024, the security situation in Edo State deteriorated to an alarming level, to the extent that their party chairman was even kidnapped for 5 weeks. I mean, when you see people belong to a party and they are talking about insecurity in Edo State, it beats my imagination. I don't want to. They don't have the moral justification to talk about. This vigilante you are talking about, when a group of officers, led by ABM Okpere, try to rebuild the structure, because the structure was clearly, disorganized with lack of command and control. So all they needed was for the government to partner with them. The PDP government did not partner with them. Rather, an effective system that was working in 2021 and 2022, they disorganized it. They said they were going to train the vigilante system, whereas all what they were doing was how to train them for election purposes. Now let them give us a database of the vigilante system that they have, and let them tell you where they are deployed right now. Because of this ragtag system and poor administration and the latent interest, the IGP had to disband vigilante system in Edo State during the election. So what this governor inherited is just a dysfunctional system as far as security system was concerned in Edo State. So what has he done? In the last government, go and ask the police, even go and ask the vigilante. No vehicles. What they bought were second-hand Sienna vehicles that cannot move 10 kilometers without breaking down. So what this governor has done is to buy about 100 new Hilux vehicles that will take them to every nook and corner and purchase them. And now, with all this thing that has happened, look at the system he has taken. The leader or the commander of the so-called system has been suspended to clear room for people to clear heads to come and think and see how we can move the state forward. I don't like to politicize insecurity, but for some elements to sit down somewhere and start criticizing the government of 3 months old, security is insidious, like I always say. It grows from point to point. It doesn't happen overnight. I think they are indirectly indicting themselves.
Now, the visit of Governor Pebelu to Kano State has been met with backlash. I've seen videos of persons online who have been talking about the fact that this is downplaying and more of a betrayal because persons have been kidnapped in your state, and these are just some of the cases we've seen in some rural communities, and, downplaying. What's your response to people of this kind of thought?
That buttressed the point I just made, that security has deteriorated in Edo State even before now. I can back it up with statistics. You see, the armed robberies that even happened in that same Uromi, the kidnappings in a train station in Igwebe local government, the kidnapping of PDP chairman in Edo State, and the numerous of such security infractions. But let me tell you, nobody is saying that we should allow insecurity to fester in any part of Edo State. What we are saying is that we all put our heads together, support the government, but the government cannot do it alone. We should all support the government. I don't want to see people sit down on their chairs and start criticizing. No, these are just tongue-in-cheek comments. Yes, we feel bad. All lives matter. No matter who that person is, to unjustly take somebody's life, it's abominable. We do not support it. If there are clear evidences of these security infractions everywhere, not only in Edo State. And the government is to make sure they do the right thing to stem this tide. Are you telling me that because there were insecurities, let me make something clear. I hate ethnic profiling. We have to be very conscious. We have to be careful when we start to profile ethnicity because you do not really know who the culprits are. But I am aware that the whole of Edo State has been traumatized in one way or the other by insecurity, by bandits. And I call it bandits. I'm not attaching them to any ethnic affiliation. There are bandits, wherever they come from, they are bandits. And those bandits should not have a free reign in any territory in Edo State or elsewhere. So what we need to do is to support the government, provide the information. Does it not intrigue you that these guys have a way of feeding? Where did they get the material they use in feeding themselves and the abducted victims? Where did they get medications that they buy? We should search our souls and make sure we hold government accountable. The only moral justification you can even hold government accountable is to do your bit. That is the common axiom. When you see something, say something. Yes, we do not tolerate invasion. We do not tolerate any type of, ruthlessness in maiming and murdering and raping people. But let's hold the government accountable by playing our own part.
So, as a fact, you're part of the team working with Governor Pebelu to curb insecurity in the state. From investigations so far, what can you tell us about the true the true identity, rather, of the persons who were killed? Some are saying they are hunters, some are saying they are kidnappers. Are they herdsmen? What do you say to debunk all the stories floating online?
Is ongoing. For anybody to jump up now and make a comment for an ongoing investigation, the person is not sincere with him or herself. Investigations are going, but people do not unnecessarily throw jibes. Allow investigation to take place. Saying, they are carrying money, they are carrying weapons. And as at the time this incident happened, and even a day after the incident, there has been no evidence of sophisticated weapons like AK-47 and the millions or billions they were talking about. People just talk for talking's sake. So if there were money and AK-47 there, are we not saying that the community people stole the money and stole the weapons? Allow security agencies to do their investigation. And people are saying they are not farmers. They are this. How do you ascertain that fact? Some people say, what are the Northerners going to do in farming in the South? If you go to history, there is what they call nomadic hunting. And there's nomadic farming, like pastoralism. So please, let us allow investigation to go on and we'll unravel the true identity of the victims, the true identity of the assailants, and the true motive of the action that took place. I do not like, to secondhand guest. I do not like, to dwell on the conspiracy theories. And I think the best thing I'm trained for my 35 years in service in the military is to allow a live investigation to unravel circumstances surrounding an event.
I guess Nigerians will be patient enough, but how soon can we get an update, sir?
It is not mathematics or arithmetic to say 2 plus 2 is 4, but with this kind of investigation that has, awoken the consciousness of every Nigerian, I'm very sure that with no time, at least the preliminary report will be out before the main report. And I'm also very sure that that young man, the governor of Edo State, will also set up a high power, judicial panel, of, good Nigerians, Edo people that are conscious of the development of the state, that are not politically biased, to actually look at these issues and come up with enduring strategies.
So let's talk about Kano State government. Earlier, before Governor Kwebelu's visit, they had listed some demands, including the Northern Elders Forum. So do you trust the government to calm tensions, as there have been viral videos online of some persons threatening retaliatory attacks? So how prepared is the Okwebelu administration to curb retaliatory attacks?
Trust. It's the right step in the right direction. The outcome of trust that you have built is dependent on good faith. With what they have done, they have built trust, and I'm very convinced that it's in good faith, because one would have thought that the governor of Edo going to that hinterland was going to met with a lot of resistance. We're going to meet with a hostile environment, but he went into that area, came out of it, and there was no skirmishes, no attack on the convoy. And the way he explained to the people, in fact, his coming there alone was a significant step in building trust. And they received him well. So when the Kano State governor comes to Edo and talk to his people, to let them know that yes, there is a right step and the right time, confidence is being built. We're beginning to also understand that yes, we have been living together for over 40 years. But I want to tell you, what we need is to continue to hold the government accountable for the development and progress. Primarily, the security and welfare of the citizenry is the business of government. So I think we'll do this by the citizens playing their own part. Before I stop, we condone any form of violence, any form of taking another person's life unjustly, whether they are bandits, and that no matter how provoked we are, we should allow civility, rule of law to play out in all circumstances.
Now, let's talk about support from the federal government. Earlier on, we saw President Bola Tinubu condemn some of the heinous act. Rather, I want to know if there's been any update from that end in terms of support, or what do you expect in terms of support?
Well, the federal government will support the state government. First and foremost is, increasing the number of policemen in the state. The federal government will work as a viral partner with the state, in the enabling laws that will make the people work effectively, especially the security agencies. And the federal government too will support, in making sure that security agencies comb the bushes and protect the lives and properties of the residents.
Now, in handling this issue of insecurity, let's look at what Governor Pebble has done at the local government level. We've seen the suspension of some local government chairmen. So what structure is available at that level to cater for the security of lives?
You are taking me to an area where there is no core competency for me. I do not know anything about those things, and I'm a security consultant. All my life, all I did was security by serving 35 years in the Nigerian military. So local government administration is a chapter I'm not competent to speak on because that's not my area of core competency. I'm sorry.
As a security expert, are you in support of the creation of state police? Will it have made a difference in averting the killings in Uromi?
Well, state police have its advantages and disadvantages. State police would bring, jurisdiction closer to the states. State police will reinforce the federal government's effort in policing, and state police bring, administrative justice also closer. Like it's done in most countries, they all have their various jurisdictions. So, but again, in a nascent democracy like ours, where you talk of maturity of mind of politicians, one is a school of thought also believe that it can be abused by governance. If some governors, you can imagine during elections, they try to do all sorts of things to win by all means. You can imagine when they have police at their disposal. So, but state police with clear delineation of their responsibilities and jurisdiction. It's not a bad idea.
Well, our time is up. I want to thank you especially for being with us. Your schedule has been busy. Thank you for finding time to talk to us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll shift gear to Kogi State and kind of examine all that played out with the Kogi State government and Senator Natasha. Let's unpack that right after the break. To stay with us.
What makes the political system what it is today? What are the recurring issues?
Order.
The tussle for power.
An extremely problematic area.
The tension. The instability of the system. Join Ellen 24/7 as we take you inside the local and international political arena in the world of politics.
Apologize for saying that I was corrupt.
I'm not here to call out his lies. Everybody knows he's a liar.
Watch politics now on Ellen 24/7.
Don't miss Politics Now on Ellen 24/7.
All right, thanks for staying on LN 24/7. This time around, we'll be moving the conversation to tension over Senator Natasha's homecoming. Our talking points will focus on the curfew declaration by Kogi government and also Natasha, Kogi government examining counter allegations. It was quite the drama on Tuesday. Well, Christopher Sunday, political analyst, lecturer, and media consultant, joins us live in our studios here in Abuja. Christopher, good to have you back on the show.
Yes, thank you very much.
All right.
Happy Salah.
Okay, happy Salah, of course, to you and to all our viewers. So let's break it down. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Dwagon on Tuesday received a rousing welcome from her supporters and residents of the Ihima community of Kogi, despite the state government's ban on rallies. Her supporters from the 5 local government areas of Kogi Central Senatorial District that Akpoti-Dwagon represents flooded the Ihima community of Ikehi local government area to welcome the People's Democratic Party lawmaker. Now, despite the warnings, the lawmaker told the crowd of supporters that no one can stop her from coming home. Before the homecoming, the lawmaker had alleged that any security breach at the ceremony should be blamed on Kogi State Governor Usman Ododo, Senate Godswill Akpabio, and ex-Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello. Natasha had also alleged before the rally that Governor Ododo, Yahaya Bello, and Senate President Godswill Akpabio should be held responsible for any upheaval at the event. She also alleged that Senate President Akpabio told Yahaya Bello he should try and kill her, and he should make sure that the killing doesn't happen in Abuja. It should be done in Kogi State. So it will seem as if that it was the people who had her killed. Let's take a listen to that powerful allegation.
Then, I will say this, and I'm saying this openly as well. On the 14th day of March, at about 10:30 p.m., on the 14th day of March, at about 10:30 p.m., I got calls that Governor Yahaya Bello was with Akpabio. That night. Now, let me say this now. On the 14th of March, at 10:30 p.m., mind you, 2 days before that, which was on the 12th, Akpabio had called Governor Dodo on the phone that he should commence my recall. But Governor Dodo told him it would be impossible. No, hold on. This was what Governor Dodo said on the 12th. Listen. He said, on the 12th of March, Akpabio spoke to Governor Dodo to recall me. But he told him to be impossible because the masses are with her, the people are with her. But Akpabio was not satisfied. He then sent for Yahaya Bello. And it was actually Senator Asukwo from Cross River that drove Yahaya Bello from Hilton Hotel. I was informed of everything. And when I got to know, hold on, the meetings was in two folds. He told him to commence my recall. And that he was going to fund it. Of course, monies changed hands that night. The second thing he told him was that he should try and kill me. I didn't make this public, but I wrote to the IG of police. And Akpabio told Yahaya Bello, I am saying, standing by what I've said. He told him that he should make sure that killing me does not happen in Abuja. It should be done here. So it will seem as if it's the people that killed me here. I didn't make that public, but we did notify the security agencies of that. I called on the media houses. I called on This Day, I called on Punch, I called on a number of that I know. I tried to get them publish the information ahead of time. That look, this is the nature of the meeting. They are going to commence my recall. But of course, the print media, if you don't have evidence, they will not be able to put it out. So they said, Natasha, do you have any evidence that your recall is being planned? I said, I don't have any evidence, but I know that the meeting took place and this was what transpired. But you see, 3 days after, the recall started and they called me, oh, you said it. I said, I did tell you that this was going to happen. But what is it now for us? We saw what happened. They came around, deceived our women that there was an empowerment program going on. They told them to...
Now, meanwhile, the curfew declaration by the government, as well as the state's ban on all political rallies and gatherings in the state, has generated reactions. Do recall the chairman of Okehi local government area of the state, Amoka Monday, imposed curfew across the council area, citing security concerns following a ban on political rallies and unregulated gatherings. The Kogi State government has also asked security agencies to hold Senator Natasha responsible should any violence erupt in the North Central. And in the statement made by the Commissioner for Information, Kingsley Fanwo, he blamed the female senator for holding her homecoming rally despite the ban placed by Governor Usman Ododo. All right, so let's get down to basics. Now, we've seen counter allegations from the state government, saying that she has planned a sort of a security tension situation in the state, and then just after that, Natasha's allegations. But I want us to start the conversation from the ban of the state government. Is Natasha posing a security threat by coming home?
To be candid with you, if there is anything at all, it is the state government who try to incite violence in the state. Because just about 6 hours after the e-flyers of Natasha started flying on the internet that she's coming home, the next thing is that we saw a press statement from Kingsley Fao, which I am yet to even ascertain if the governor is even aware of that press statement.
But he's the commissioner for information, rather. So he wouldn't just make that kind of communication. He's a direct appointee of Governor Ododo. So
there are things I wouldn't want to start saying on air here, but I am saying I won't be surprised if the governor starts fire this morning.
So you're saying
this whole Natasha, Natasha.
You're saying
saga,
the Governor Ododo will not support
this whole Natasha saga that is flying up and down. Ododo doesn't have it doesn't have any hand in it.
But she alleged Governor Ododo,
now
former Governor Yaya
yes,
Bello,
on that I will understand where she is coming from. There are two statements in that context. One, she said, this clip that you played now, she said, when the governor, I said this last week. Is it last week? When last was I here? I said, the governor is not in this whole recall saga of Natasha. She affirmed it yesterday. If you listen to that, her very well, she said, they approached the governor, which I said, that was the exact thing I said last week when I was with you here, that Ododo cannot be found in this charade. The same thing she said yesterday. Now, by her saying the governor, the Senate president, and the former governor should be held responsible, it is in the context of the governor being the security head of Kogi State. Because if anything happens to even the president within a state, the governor will be held responsible. So within that context of security, protection of life and property within the state, that is where she introduced the governor, that he should be held responsible. But as for this saga, I am aware that even some of the persons that are within the government are not even okay with this recall issue.
Now, talking about the recall, you can see the massive turnout of people that came out to welcome her. So when you see that, and then you see thousands of papers that are signatures, rather, that were taken to INEC, how do you reconcile this plot
to
oust her?
What is there to reconcile? What is there to reconcile? You see, people should know. And I honestly, I am not. I told the entered down here this morning and said, I am not happy with what is happening in my state. That every time, out of 20 news in Kogi State, the only good news you hear is just about 1 or 2 within a month. Every other thing is one problem or the other. And we saw the videos are everywhere in the internet. How can you even when buses were sent to states to convey people down to Okene for that election, they got only, in total, 54,000, 52,000, and 4,000. Everything 124,000 or 226,000. After rigorous campaign of 6 months, and then just within 72 hours, we are bringing out 250,000 signatures. How did it? And I look at our own constituency yesterday. We heard where one of the attendees, they said they never came to their own local government or ward or polling unit to get their signature. Where did they? And it means they forged it. And I'm happy they have reported the case to the police. Let them fish out those who forged those signatures, because
we heard INEC, talk about the fact that there was no contact details. Then later INEC said it had gotten contact details.
It's a normal process. Yeah, you can't send a letter without address. So if you are petitioning somebody, there is need for you to put address. But this is a contradiction. The name of the group that took that petition there happens to be different from the name that brought the address. And I'm sure that is why INEC has decided to say they can't continue with the recall process, because there are so conflicting whatever there. You see, INEC is mute on this whole recall stuff now. How can somebody, a group, I don't have their name now, a group came and presented 6 Ghana must goes of what recall, of signatures, record signatures, and then INEC wrote to them that they have not followed the due process, that they need to come and put their address and sign, and then the group that came to sign is different from the group that brought the petition. You see that this whole thing is just politically motivated.
Now, you look at the state government, they've reported that to security agencies, and when Fanwo was pressed last night on whether or not she should be arrested, he said, okay, that is left for the security operatives to decide whether they're going to arrest her or not. But has she broken the law? Because this is also the legality of things, away from sentiments now.
Which of the laws has she broken?
The state government had put out a statement that there should not be gatherings.
That is not a law. If it is a law, the State Assembly will sign it. It was an instruction.
Now, from all that played out yesterday, did you hear of any complication of any sort?
That is where we are right now. I listened to Fanwo yesterday on, what was it called? Arise. And then after him, my legal prof, Gito Goge, was there too. And this same question I asked now was the question he asked. He said, which of the laws did she break? You say you instructed. What is the place of instruction in the democratic society? You should talk about the law. And the Constitution states clearly that there must be freedom of association, freedom of gathering and all that. So now you are saying she broke the law. Which of the law, even though it's the law, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended states clearly that if a new law, a bylaw is conflicting with the law in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the law of the Federal Republic of Nigeria takes precedence. She has the right of freedom of association, and that is what she has done. Now, coming to your question, this is almost like 12 hours after the rally. We have not heard anything. That's why I said Kogi State.
So the allegation by the government that Senator Natasha constituents and those who are against were supposedly going to clash. I mean, this was the conflict that they were envisaging to put out that declaration in the first place. So what does that say about that assertion?
The only thing they wanted to do was to make sure she doesn't come home, because they know what she has done for them.
Because the government will always tell you that they are acting based on security notice.
The new commissioner of police in Kogi State, I think he just resumed about 2 months ago or less than 2 months ago. Has he ever sat to meet to discuss about security issues? If yes, what has been happening in local government? What has been happening in one of the local governments in the West? There is hardly a week that passes now that you don't hear of kidnapping in Ejule. What has he done? Where is the what's it called? The report that he has written to the governor, and then maybe the cue that the so-called local government chairman gave yesterday in which of the local government now? In one of the local governments in the central. Why is it that the local government chairman of why has he not declared curfew in of local government? I have not read that part of the Constitution. I even want to know if a local government chairman has the right to declare curfew.
Well, you look at the
and
justification.
That curfew came like 3 hours before Natasha's husband landed with his chopper.
Now, let's go back to the justification from the government. They said when it comes to security, we should not, when it comes to the life of the average citizen, every measure should be taken by government. How do you balance that with every other security concern?
There is a clip that your MCR guy is going to play. While they were busy giving that instruction that there should be no gathering, no political gathering, there should be no this and that, the APC youth leader in Kogi State was somewhere having problem with people in some parts of Lokoja to the extent that they even broke the screen of somebody's television within the cycle of APC. Has anybody been arrested? He will play it. I want him to play it. Has anybody, allegedly anyway, the guy mentioned the name of the APC state leader, Mohammed, that he came to his house and broke the screen of his car after following him to one of the sit-outs, or is it Golden Lodge along Masbati Road. So what has the state government, have they arrested the APC youth leader? So we just have to know. You see, I said it last week. I say, in as much as I want this government of Ododo to do well, I am a pro-Ododo person. Of course, you know I have written a book of almost 700 pages for Ododo. Whether it will be launched or not, that is not what I'm thinking now. But the truth of the matter is that we must speak truth to power. We must always tell ourselves the truth. We are youth, for goodness sake. Why should we be playing this kind of politics? We'll play politics without even thinking that we are investing in our future. Where the likes of Obasanjo that are still moving around and enjoying life today is because, though with their human limitations, at least they had followers who are dedicated to them, followers who are loyal to them. But look at Kogi State, Abubakar Audu, Ibrahim Idris, Wada. Even the only reason why Bello is still relevant in Kogi State today because he is the one that brought the present governor. Let the present governor or the next governor be another person from another party or somebody who on his own comes to power. You will see in just 3 weeks, Bello's name will just wipe out of Kogi State.
Okay, now let's move to Natasha now, away from the state government. Now, she made a lot of, allegations. Now, the allegations against the Senate president, she has yet to provide evidence. And then she goes on to make another allegation that allegedly the Senate president spoke to Yaya Bello to ensure that she's killed and that it should be done within the confines of Kogi State. How do you make such kind of allegations without no proof? I mean, this is someone that is supposed to be a lawyer.
Where do you want her to bring the proof? Where are you to present the proof? Proofs are presented in the court of law. She has gone to the court of law. She has alleged. And instead of them to follow it up, the next thing we heard is that the lawyer has retired himself from the case. Don't forget that she has gone to the court to swear an oath.
The judge, you mean, rather?
I mean the judge, sorry.
Recused himself.
Yeah, they recused himself from it. And then she has gone to court to also sign an affidavit to her allegations. Like you said, she is a lawyer. So it will be a big mistake and a political setback if at the end of this she could not bring a substantive or an evidence to back up all her claims. Even though it's one is okay. At least let us even see where maybe as a married, there is a way you hold a married woman that would suggest that okay, you are craving for her and all that. Let her just bring it. But and then this because one that you said about Yaya Bello, Senate President and all that, we also have it is her words against theirs.
Now we need to understand that these allegations are weighty. The first one, you said you maligned me, you sidelined me, and then you sexually harassed me, and now you want to kill me. I mean, this is how long can Senator Natasha continue to play this game of allegations?
This is the time for the Senate President to go to court and say that Natasha accused him of trying to kill her. I'm still surprised why the Senate President has not even gone to the court to sue her for lying against him for sexual harassment. If I were the Senate President, all this while, if she cannot prove her point, if truly there is nothing between them, the Senate President ought to have gone to the court now.
You recall the wife had filed petition.
Who is the wife
Natasha.
in this case? Who is the wife? Who is the wife in this case? She is
the wife is the second half.
She is a non-actor. She is not a known actor in our democratic. In fact she was even the one that fixed her husband in a very, very bad light. Go to has she opened her Facebook? What's it called? Is it Facebook or Twitter up to now? She has not opened. People went there and bashed her. It can't be like if I'm having problem with somebody outside, I don't expect my wife to come and maybe going on air to do. Allow me. And you see, when you make democracy, because we are in democracy and you want to make all the democratic processes look childish, you are already teaching our children wrong thing. And that is why you see Everybody now is talking about somebody of 2025 because he has the opportunity of being in government. He believes that to rig election is the right thing. And the next thing you say, go to court. The next thing you hear, go to court. So for how long are we going to make it look like democracy has given us room to be senseless or to be myopic in thinking? When you don't even know, it's like our life ends with us. We don't know. My son is about 7 years now. What I'm thinking every day is that what am I going to? It's not about giving a mansion to your. Look at what is happening in Gaza and other places. People left mansions for their family, but where are the mansions today? They are damned. That is because there is no democratic ethics that will safeguard even the constitution itself. Today you will see, okay, electoral law, for instance. Akpabio himself, how did he become Senate president? Look at the way he reguled himself because he's a lawyer. Then they play around the constitution, and then unfortunately our judiciary has become the highest bidder now will have its way.
Now, because of our time, we're almost out of time on this. I wanted you to talk about, Natasha and her constituents. This period of 6 months, constitutionally, and according to the Senate ethics and rules, she stands suspended at least for now until the next 6 months. How will she continue? Because from this success of this homecoming, it appears to me that she's likely to continue to do and carry out projects within her constituency. So when you look at the legality of that, how does that stand, and how do the people move past having a representative at the National Assembly? 6 months is just too much to hold, and it's looking like this recall process is probably not going to pull through. So what's the balance here? The people and having a representative?
It narrows down to what I just said just now. People, we twist the constitution to play the way we want it to our own interest, so to say. Both the rule, the House rule, and the Constitution didn't stipulate 6 months for suspension of a sitting senator. Never. You can't sit anywhere. That is one. There are also Supreme Court cases. Is it Supreme Court now, or court cases that are set precedents for this same issue? One of it is National Assembly versus this man from Borno State, the white Agbada man. What's his name now? Ndume. Before Ndume, Ndume is even in this state assembly, was suspended. But when there's 3 months, I think they said 3 months.
But before he came back, he apologized, and that's what they're asking Senator Natasha to do, to apologize.
Yeah, well, let us wait until that 6 months. But the question is that where did they get the 6 months from? What the Constitution states is 14 days. 14 days, that's what the Constitution says. But now they say 6 months. But one of your questions is said, let me tell you something. Even Natasha is out of that chamber for 1 year. The senator representing Kogi West cannot do half of what she will do for people. Have you not seen what she did before about 2-3 days to Salah? This home she went now, as I'm talking to you now, there are about 5 trailer loads of grains going to her constituency. You will see them before the end of today and other stuff. And then maybe I will also send it to your studio for them to also see that within the last 2 months now? Is it 2 months? Is it February and March, or 2 years now? She has given people over about 24 million naira. You know, I said it last week. Tuition for, what's it called? Students loan. No, not student loan. She gives to students, they sick and all that. Over 24 million naira. I have it here. I will send it to you. So let us see. Let one senator in the 3 senatorial districts, Echocho, Sunday Kirimi, and Natasha, let us drop this to see if any of them has done what she has done in 2 years. None of them. She has just done 2 years. They are. I think Kirimi is also. I don't know where it's 2 years now or 4 years now. I mean second tenure now. But I'm telling you now that Natasha's performance in just these 2 years of hers and what she's still doing, she has done more than the two of them combined together.
All right, Christopher, our time is up. I want to thank you so much for coming again. And we will be monitoring the drama because it seems as if there is a shift from Natasha Akpabio, and now the Kogi State government is involved in the whole political drama. But that's the much time we can take on the show for today. Many thanks for watching. And I must say thank you for coming, Christopher.
Thank you very much.
All right, and that's where we draw the curtain on tonight's show. We'll come back on Friday and, of course, break down the Edo Election Tribunal verdict announcement. Once again, my name is Morno Balagugu. Many thanks for watching.